Good morning, children. Today we are going to start the new chapter, Data Handling. We use different type of information in newspaper and magazines which are presented in the form of pictures. For example, look at this news, where the information on the number of working women in United States of America is shown. This picture gives the information about the number of working women from the year 1940 to 1944. We can clearly see that the number increases as the year increases. We also get information on sports and environmental issues in the form of these rectangular bars in the picture. Thus we see that in our day-to-day life we get such information appearing in newspaper, magazines, television and other places. We represent them in a table or in a pictorial form. This is called as data handling. Now, what is data? A data is a collection of information in the form of numbers. The data can be collection of information about weight of students in a class, runs scored by a batsman in various matches, sale of a shopkeeper, etc. In your earlier classes, you have learned about different types of graphs like pictograph, bar graph and double bar graph. Let us recall it. First, let us discuss about pictograph. A pictograph represents a data in an organized manner with the help of pictures. Let us check one example question. In a school, choice of sports of grade 3 students were recorded and represented in this pictograph. Look carefully, each picture represents 8 students, which means each picture in this pictograph represents 8 students instead of just one. Also, look at this half picture. This picture represents half of 8 students, that is 4 students. Now, let us find out the answer to each question. Which sport is the most chosen one? From the pictograph, it is clear that cricket is the most liked sport. Which sport is the least chosen one? Again, just by looking into the pictograph, it is clear that hockey is the least chosen sport. How many students chose the sport cricket? Let us count the pictures here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 full pictures means 5 into 8 is equal to 40 students. And 1 half picture means 4 students. This means 40 plus 4 is equal to 44 students. Next, bar graph. In bar graph, the data is represented in the form of bars of uniform width drawn horizontally or vertically with equal space in between them. Length of each bar is proportional to the data which it represents. Let's understand this with an example. Let's represent the following data using bar graph. To represent data graphically, first of all, we will draw a horizontal line and a vertical line as shown. Then we write categories such as red, white, blue, grey and purple on horizontal axis and number of caps sold on vertical axis. Then we will choose appropriate scale. That is, we will specify how many caps will be represented by a unit length of a bar. Here we will choose 1 unit is equal to 10 caps. Accordingly, we will write the number of caps in the vertical axis. Now we will find the height of bars as per the data. Here 20 red caps were sold. To represent the number 20, we can draw a bar extending from 0 to 20 on vertical axis. It will be a bar of height 2 units. Similarly, for representing 45 white caps, we draw a bar extending from 0 to 45 on vertical axis. Here note that any two divisions have 10 subdivisions, so 45 will be represented by 4.5 units. This is how we can represent all the data on the bar graph. The advantage of bar graph is we can represent data much easily as well as in less time. By looking at bar graphs, can you tell me which kind of cap solved the least? Here the bar with the smallest height will be the answer. So, purple colored caps were solved the least. Can you tell me what is the difference between the number of red caps and blue caps sold from the shop? We can see that the number of red caps sold was 20 and number of blue caps sold was 15. So the difference is 5 caps. Next graph is double bar graph. Following table shows the number of ice cream sold by seller A and seller B on Sunday. To draw a double bar graph, observe the values. We can see that lowest value is 35 and highest value is 52. That means the spread of the data, that is range, is from 35 to 52. Choose a suitable scale. Here, if we choose 1 unit is equal to 1 ice cream, then the bars will be very tall and we could not represent them on the graph paper. If we use a very large value such as 1 unit is equal to 50, then it will be difficult to represent values like 35. So an appropriate scale could be 1 unit is equal to 5 ice creams or 1 unit is equal to 10 ice creams, as most of the values can be represented using this scale. Can we choose 13 here? Think about it. No, since given values are not multiples of 13 or they cannot be easily represented. Therefore, we cannot take 13 as the value of unit length. We will choose 1 unit is equal to 10 ice creams. Now here we have to draw 2 bars. So we must differentiate them so that we can read them easily. To do so, we can write legends like this. We can draw bar like this to show the number of ice creams sold by seller A on Sunday and bar like this to show the number of ice cream sold by seller B on Sunday. Let's draw the double bar graph. First draw vertical and horizontal axes. Show categories like strawberry, vanilla, chocolate, etc. on horizontal or vertical axis and show number of ice creams on other axis according to the scale taken. Here, since value less than 30 are not present, so we can skip those values and can start from 30 as well. To do so, we will draw a king mark which shows the values from 0 to 30 are not taken. Seller A sold 40 strawberry ice creams. So we'll draw bars of length 0 to 40. He sold 42 vanilla ice creams. Here 42 is between 40 and 50. Since each unit represents 10 ice creams, therefore we can say that the 10th part of unit represents 1 ice cream. So to represent 42, we have to consider 2 parts of unit length out of 10 parts after 40. Thus we will draw a bar extending from 0 to 42. In the same way, we will finish drawing double bar graph of the given data. Next topic is organizing data. Usually, data available to us is an unorganized form called raw data. To draw meaningful inferences, we need to organize the data systematically. Let us learn how to make a frequency distribution table for an ungrouped data using one example. Consider a basket containing 17 fruits. To know the exact number of each particular fruit in the basket, you classify the fruits into categories. Now to find out the number of fruits belonging to each category. An easy method followed is the use of tally marks. They keep track of numbers in groups of 5. One vertical line count 1. 2 vertical lines count 2. 3 vertical lines count 3. 4 vertical lines count 4. And the line Cross the 4 vertical lines, count 5. Let the first fruit picked be an apple. So we make one vertical line against the category of apple in the table. Consider that the second fruit picked is a banana. So we make one vertical line against banana. Let the third fruit picked be again an apple. So we make one more vertical line in the category of apple. Similarly, we pick all the fruits one by one and put the tally marks in the respective places in the table. Tally marks helps to avoid missing an item or counting one item more than once. The number of times a particular item occurs in a given data is known as the frequency of that particular item. Thus, frequency of apple is 5. Frequency of banana is 6. Frequency of orange is 2. Frequency of mango is 1. And frequency of sapota is 3. The table so obtained is known as the frequency distribution table. Next, let us learn how to make a frequency distribution table for grouped data using an example. Suppose the height of 15 students in the class are as follows. To read and understand the given data easily, you can make it into groups. For this, locate the minimum and maximum heights. They are 150 centimeters and 172 centimeters respectively. To include all the observations in the groups, you make the various groups with equal intervals. Such groupings are called continuous class intervals or classes. This is because in any two consecutive class intervals, the lowest number of the succeeding class is equal to the greatest number of the preceding class. This size of each class interval is called as class size or class width. Here you can see that the class size of each class interval is 4. The lowest number in each class interval is known as its lower class limit, and the greatest number in each class interval is known as its upper class limit. Now, you might be thinking that 154 is appearing in both the first and in the second interval. In which class interval should it be considered? Think about it. If it is considered in both the classes, then it counted twice. To avoid such repetition, we consider 154 in the interval 154 to 158. And it is not included in the class interval 150 to 154. We can generalize that each class interval represents the height greater than or equal to the lower class limit and less than the upper class limit. Now, complete the frequency distribution table by using tally marks and mentioning the number represented by tally marks in the frequency column. Frequency distribution table thus simplifies the data and enables us to observe certain important features at a glance. The table so obtained is known as grouped frequency distribution table. Let us check one more example illustrates grouped frequency distribution. The score out of 100 obtained by 33 students in an English test are 69, 48, 84, 58, 84, 48, 73, 83, 48, 66, 58, 66, 64, 71, 64, 66, 69, 66, 83, 66, 69, 71, 81, 71, 73, 69, 66, 66, 64, 58, 64, 69 and 69. We can prepare a grouped frequency distribution table as shown here. In the example shown here, the number of different observations is quite large. It is desirable and rather essential to arrange the given data in several groups and obtain a frequency distribution of the number of observations in each group. When the data are written in this form, the data are said to be grouped and the distribution obtained is called a grouped frequency distribution. Next topic is histogram. Histogram. You already learned to interpret a given bar graph and also construct a bar graph for the given data. We will now learn how to represent a grouped frequency distribution graphically in the form of histogram. The graph of the grouped frequency distribution of the marks obtained by 51 students in Hindi is displayed here. This graph of grouped frequency distribution is called a histogram. It is a bar graph with no space in between bars. From this histogram, we can easily answer these questions. How many students have obtained marks 35 or more? How many students have obtained marks 29 or less? To draw histograms, we take these steps. Draw two perpendicular lines. Mark class marks on the horizontal axis. Mark frequencies on the vertical axis. Label the two axes according to the given data. Construct bars, that is rectangles, with the respective class intervals as the basis and the corresponding frequencies as the heights. We have a question. Draw the histogram for the following table which represents the marks of students in a class. Here, if we observe the class intervals, we can say that they are continuous. Now let us see the procedure for constructing histogram of class intervals which are continuous. Initially, take a graph paper and draw two perpendicular axes, one horizontal axis, that is x-axis, and other vertical axis, that is y-axis. Choose the appropriate scales on both the axes and mark the class intervals on the x-axis and frequencies on the y-axis as shown. Construct rectangles with the class intervals, that is marks as basis, and the respective frequencies, that is number of students as heights, to obtain the required histogram. Suppose here for the class interval 0 to 10, the number of students is 5. So make a rectangle with the base 0 to 10 and height 5. And similarly for the remaining class intervals, the histogram will obtain as shown. Make the note that the heights of the bars are proportional to the frequencies and we cannot interchange any two bars as the class intervals are exclusive. So children, today we learned about pictograph, bar graph and double bar graph. Also discussed ungrouped frequency distribution table and grouped frequency distribution table and histogram. Understand and study all the concepts we discussed today. Practice all the question answers also.